What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for Peacemaker Season 2. Finally! I know I am like a week or so late on this review, man. I'm sorry. As you guys know, when the episode had initially dropped, I was stuck in Texas to go into my abuela's funeral. I didn't have internet at the hotel, so if I wanted to watch the episode while I was there and then review when I got back, I couldn't. So I waited till then, but then other like videos and other stuff kept getting in the way once we finally did get back home, and I had to keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back till finally today I sat down and watched the fucking episode so that I could review it for you guys. And or the series, or watch the last episode, then review the season, rather. And I must say, man, this season was fucking incredible, man. Like, easily, this top season 1 of Peacemaker in every conceivable way. This season was incredible, man. Very much, and really did a lot with the characters. And, like, I think this would, like, you could almost call season 2 almost a character study. At least with like Chris at the very least, because it like really gets into Chris's psyche and like some of the other characters as well, like Harcourt as well. Like she gets a lot of screens, like she gets a lot of focus this season as well. So yeah. There's a lot of crazy shit happens this season, man, and we're gonna talk about it. We'll obviously not gonna talk about everything here. We got the spoilers because we're gonna get a little bit more in depth on certain things, but yeah. So. The show stars, of course, my man, my GOAT, John Cena, Jennifer Holland, Sol Rodriguez, Daniela Brooks, Robert Patrick, Steve Agg, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, Frank Grillo, if I'm pronouncing it right. I feel like I'm mispronouncing it. And many more. And the plot of Peacemaker Season 2, I'm once again just going to be rereading the synopsis for the first episode. Peacemaker interviews for a spot at the Justice Gang while Harcourt struggles to find work on the heels of Adebayo's bombshell press conference. Economos is forced to survey Peacemaker under Rick Flag Sr.'s new management. Now, first of all, man, we got to talk about the cast, man. John Cena, my man, my GOAT, John Cena. What a year this man has had, man. You know, Peacemaker Season 2, he turned heel, he turned back to a baby face, has had some of these last few matches he had have been some of the best in his career, man. It's like bro found the fountain of youth or something in recent months, man. I don't know what happened with John earlier on in the year compared to now. I don't know if he was just like holding back and being a little bit more reserved with his moveset and whatnot, because he probably had some like filming obligations and didn't want to risk injuring himself. But by the time SummerSlam rolled around with Cody Rhodes, he was done with all that, could finally go all out. I don't know, man, but like John in his last few matches since SummerSlam has been incredible. And like I said, he has turned back the clock back to 2015 or something, man. It's honestly insane. So, and I love this heel run, man. I enjoy this heel run. It definitely had its problems, man, but I still enjoyed John Cena's heel run. But anyway, what a year he's had, man. You know, this is he's on his retirement tour currently. This is his final year, man. He's only got like a handful of dates left, and yeah, man. And you got this show, and you obviously got Peacemaker as well, man. But seriously, man, John is fucking incredible, man. Like, this is easily the best work of his career, and at least in terms of acting, man. And I think we can all agree on that, man. John is truly spectacular in this season, man. I think he shines the most, in particular, was in episode 2, I think. I'm not sure which one it was. It was either episode 1 or episode 2. He had like a big emotional moment once we found that his brother's still alive in this alternate universe, along with his dad now being an asshole. I think that was episode 2. That might have been episode 1 where he had like that big emotional moment that people were talking. And of course, episode 7 rather. Excuse me. Episode 7. I literally got the thing. I got HBO Max pulled up on right here just so I can like fact check the episode counts on which episodes were what. But yeah, episode 7, that was like the big episode, which was easily well, not that one. Episode 4 was easily my favorite episode of the series, man. This episode was batshit insane, man. We'll talk a bit about it here, man, and I probably won't be getting super in depth because, like, I'm a week behind. I'm a week late on this review, man. So memory's a little bit hazy, especially on some of the earlier episodes. But shit's crazy in season. Episode 4 was easily probably my favorite. It's probably my favorite of the entire series, man. That episode was so fucking funny, so good, man. Seriously, an amazing episode. But episode 7 was another phenomenal episode in its own right as well. But yeah, John is a crow, man. Jennifer is once again great as hardcore, man. She really gets she really gets a shine here, man. Especially once again in episode 7 with that big sequence she had with John, with her and John C, which we'll get a little bit more into probably more in the spoilers discussion. We'll get a little bit more in depth about that on top of what the actual context that was. But that was a great, but they were both phenomenal there, man. She was great here, man. Danielle is great once again as Adebayo, man. She got a couple emotional moments during the last couple of episodes where pretty nice. Robert Patrick, is great as always, man. Steve as Economos, man. Economos gets a lot to do this season, man. And bro, I feel so bad for Economos. He's kind of like the butt of the jokes for a lot of this season, but he's so funny, man. But easily the highlight of this season, man. I don't know the actor's name. Let me see if I can, because he's not popping up on Google. I'm trying to see if I can find him. Okay, not even like IMDb is popping up, so I have no idea who the actor is, unfortunately. But there is the one of the new characters that gets introduced this season, man. He is part of Argus. This black dude, like I said, I don't know the actor's name, and IMDb for some reason is not loading on the Peacemaker page. I do not know why. This has never happened before. I don't know why it's suddenly becoming an issue. But you have that whole thing. But this dude, like I said, I don't remember his name or anything, man. Like I said, I can't look him up. Langston Fullery, if I'm pronouncing that name right. I'm not entirely sure if I'm saying it right. Who's played by, what does this mention the actor's name? Yes, Tim Meadows. Bro, Langston, this dude is a walking liability, but god damn it, he is entertained. This dude says the most unhinged, out of pocket shit ever. And of course, like the whole thing with him having bird blindness. This dude was so fucking funny. But my god, this dude is a walking PR nightmare for literally anybody, man. This dude does not give a damn about boundaries. He will invade your personal space, man. He will just ramble on about the most random shit and be very out of pocket about, like, literally the very last episode, he's like telling this story about someone motorboating a woman. There's this whole thing with Economos during the early episodes, man, where like this bro really tries to like be bros with him. He calls it like this nickname that Economos hates, but he still keeps calling it that. There's Rick Flex Senior's right hand woman. I'm slipping on the woman's name. And bro is like hitting on her, being like, oh yeah, I got her wrapped around my finger, bro. Like this dude. Sasha, where he's like hitting on her, acting like he got mad again, that he's got her wrapped around his finger, man. Like, bro, there is so much shit on this dude, man. But goddamn it, he was so fucking funny. Seriously, man. I'm assuming he's a new character, man, but yeah, man, he is hilarious. I loved him. Like I said, the dude's a walking PR nightmare, man. This dude doesn't know when to shut the fuck up and has no idea and has no concept of boundaries. But goddamn it, he's funny, man. Seriously, he was so entertaining, man. So fucking funny, man. I loved him. He was probably my favorite character of the new characters that are introduced this season. Besides the bird hunter they bring in there later on, that's played by the same guy that plays what's his name in the Guardians films? I'm slipping on the character's name. Yodu. The same actor that plays Yodu, I at first thought he was like, just knowing Jim Gunn, I thought it was like some ultra obscure character, DC character from the 70s, but to my surprise, he's actually a completely new original character introduced into this show. So, go figure. But yeah, he was funny. But that whole, like I said, episode 4 was the highlight of the season of the series, man, because of that episode with him trying to track down Eagly and trying to kill him, man. It's so funny. But yeah. So you got that, man. Like I said, this season really feels like more of a character study on Chris, particularly because it's obviously focused a lot about him going into this alternate universe where it seems like everything is all hunky dory and perfect, which obviously revealed that it isn't. But yeah, you got that, man. I think the show did a really fantastic job with that, with him in that sort of and like introduce and like with really focusing on his character and like really dissecting him and everything, man, and like all the shit all the shit he's been through, whatnot, and him going back forward to reality, be like, oh, this is such a great place here, man. But yeah, great stuff there. And I think I mentioned this in like either my first impressions or like the trail in the couple trailer reactions I did, but I also gotta say I love the Peacemaker's design in the alternate reality where when we get there, man, I love the more specifically the helmet. I love the look of that helmet from there, man. But yeah, the intro, like I said in my first impression, man, is really good, man. Is great, but I think I still do prefer seasons one's intro. But I don't know. I haven't gone back and listened to season one's. I think I like that one. Ended up liking that one a tad more than season two's intro. Also, the song selection is once again great, man. It's James Gunn. You expect that, man. Like I said, episode 4 had like probably like my favorite of the insert songs. Like that was the one that actually went out of my way to Shazam, and I've been listening to that one occasionally every now and then, man. It's a banger song. But yeah, episode 4, man, that was such a banger episode. Seriously, like I said, easily my favorite episode of the entire series. But yeah. Now as far as negatives are concerned, to not get too deep into spoilers, man. Like I said, once I mentioned before, how the fight in the first episode with Hardcore in the bar got a little bit disorienting and hard to like really tell, which didn't really end up being a thing for like the later fights as well. There's also another thing where, to not get too deep in spoilers, but once again, where we find about the alternate reality and what the truth behind everything, I do wish they kind of focused out a bit more on that and how it got to there, man, because the show doesn't really do. But I think that would have been cool if they kind of spent like 5 minutes or something explaining, like, how that actually whole thing came to be. I think that would have been cool if we actually got to see that. Oh yeah, and that, and also, like I mentioned before, Hardcore also gets a lot of screen time and a lot of characterization this season as well. Like I mentioned before, in the first episode, where a therapist or a psychologist diagnosed her with toxic masculinity, and she throws a fit about that, and then goes to the bar, beat the shit out of people and all that. Oh yeah, there's there's this hilarious episode. I forget which episode it was, where Hardcore, after one of her bar fight escapades, she like gets something from the store. This poor woman thinks she's like a domestic abuse victim, and like tries to tell her that she's okay. And Hardcore just tells her to fuck up, but she won't leave. But she won't go away, man. That had me in tears, man. That was so funny. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that's about everything I can go into without getting too deep into spoilers, guys. So we'll say stuff for the spoilers discussion. But to surprise nobody, man, my thought for the show is going to be a 10 out of fucking 10. I'm going to keep my voice down, man, because it's really late, right? It's really late tonight when I'm recording this. But anyway, guys, like I said, spoilers discussion. So you guys don't want to get spoiled, leave. For everyone else, let's get on. So let's get a little bit more into that initial flaw I had. And there's also one other thing that I kind of want to mention as well. Where we find out, to the surprise no one, I saw people theorize, like High Top and a few other people were theorizing this about the alternate reality, especially given, how Robert Patrick's dad, or how Chris's dad was in his universe, where we find out that world is where the Nazis won World War II, and I wish they kind of spent a little time explaining how that happened. Like, how did the Nazis win World War II? A quick flash, or hell, just a character just saying something about how that happened, what I think would be just because I'm just curious to see how they won World War II. And the cool thing about that whole sequence, man, that I really thought was just the difference. It's like, just like the massive tonal shift with the family dynamic, because like I said, you guys remember it's in, like, in the main reality, in the main universe, Chris's brother is dead, and his dad is, like, pretty much Satan himself. A complete piece of shit in every sense of the word. While here, his brother is alive, and his dad's actually a good, loving father. And he even mentions that he actually met the main universe's version of him, and he got nothing but bad vibes and thought he was just an evil man. So that was pretty cool, man. Just seeing the dichotomy between those two, and obviously episode 7, the big one, man, where instead of his brother dying, his dad dies because vigilante and the verge of him from that universe just go in guns blazing and just murder this dude right in front of his dad or right in front of both of his sons, man. And that of course sends Chris's brother on a revenge quest against Chris to kill him, man. While Chris is in the middle of reliving his trauma and everything, man. Shit was crazy. And because we find that, of course, the Nazis won World War II, and we get that whole bit about, like, how'd you not notice, like, you know, this, which I'm assuming is, like, meant to be the manifesto of the Nazis, rather than Hitler's autobiography made while he's in prison, right? That was, like, how the whole thing of Nazism kind of started, was from that book, his journal that he made while he was in prison, if I remember correctly. Couldn't if I'm wrong in the comments. But you have that, man, of course, the mural of Hitler on the wall, and somehow Chris missed that. But so yeah, you got that whole thing going on there, man. We also found that he's like, oh, I'm not racist, like, you know, he doesn't agree with the world, and he's like, also not a Nazi as well, man. This dude was just such a nice and good person that I was like, God damn, bro, you really had to kill him off. Like with Vigilante just coming in and be like, they just immediately start stabbing him. But yeah. But let's get into the actual sequence itself that I want to mention from this episode. Obviously, you know, you got the whole thing with Chris and Hardcore Man, where they're like in an altar room in this version of Argus, which also we also got to see Rick Flag also got to return here in Ultra 2, where he's alive and well, which was good to see him, man. We also find that he and Hardcore were actually a thing, which was pretty interesting, because you guys remember in the Suicide Squad movie, Rick Flag was already dating someone, was dating the chick that was possessed by Enchantress. So it's kind of interesting that, like, while that was going on, he was technically also dating Hardcore, I guess on the down low or something. Thought that was interesting, though I'm sure the continuity about that movie being canon is probably up in the air, along with the Suicide Squad in certain aspects. But regardless, we got that whole thing where, like, they're both, like, going in there, and like I said, both John and Jennifer did an amazing job with the performance here, where they both kind of like meet each other and kind of try to reconcile and get to the bottom of, like, their what's the word I'm looking for, with their unresolved feelings and whatnot, man. Of course, their love for each other and whatnot, just all whatever's going on between them, man. And Jennifer kind of breaks down, saying that she's a mess, she's worthy of love and everything, man. It was such an incredible series. Like I said, John better get his Emmy this year, man. He was absolutely incredible this season. So that was an amazing series, man. Like I said, episode 4 was hilarious, man, where you had Cosmos working with the Eagle Killer, dressed like a Native American, and he I forget if he pushed him into a rock or he hit him over the head with a rock, and he thought he killed him, and then he found that he's still alive, looking for the prime eagle, which ends up being Eagly, and he could stalk him through the spiritual plane he was going through, man. That episode was just insane, man. But also, one thing I also want to mention real quick that was kind of led me a little disappointed with episode 7, more in retrospect, where I saw this tweet after episode 6 had come out. I think this might have been right before episode 7 had dropped that day, on that Thursday, where James had actually spoken with, if I remember the actress name, Daniela, right before they started shooting that episode, while they were shooting it, talk with her specifically, made sure that she was comfortable and that they were on the same page. Which when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, what the hell happens this episode? It piqued my interest in what would happen to Adebayo in this episode, because, we find out, the Nazis won, obviously people are racist, and, they keep the black people and really any other types of minorities that aren't just, white Christians or whatever in concentration camps. And it's the phrase when his brother sees Adebayo come out, he's like, oh, one got out, a black one, and she starts running away. So I was kind of curious what would happen to her this episode if James Gunn went out of his way to speak with her and make sure that she was comfortable and on the same page and everything there. But as you guys know, when we actually watch the episode, nothing happens to Adebayo. She literally just gets chased by a mob of people for a hot minute. The small Asian dude that's obsessed with Cheetos saves her, and then they just spend the rest of the episode playing Scrabble while they're just talking. And kind of trying to and talk about, and Daniela kind of talks about what's going on with her wife and everything. So she's kind of completely disconnected from the rest of the episode for most of it. So I'm kind of curious. So kind of surprised that James, because like at least when I read it, man, it felt like it was like she was gonna have a big focus in this episode. Maybe she would have people like throwing slurs at her or something. She would get tortured or just something would happen to her. But no, she's just kind of chilling throughout the episode, man. So a bit bizarre, man. I don't know if I want to say if that's like overhyping the episode or not, because maybe it was just more of a me thing. But like, I kind of thought there was gonna be a lot more going on with her in this episode than ended up happening. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we already mentioned the character. We already mentioned Chris's dad's death, man. Of course, you guys know they finally get him with that Argus. Finally finds. Oh yeah, Lex Luthor makes a cameo in the show, man, which was really cool to see him, man. That was really cool to see Lex, and like the thing he mentions about like his roommates or like one of his roommates raping his cellmate or something, man. That was pretty funny. While Nicholas Hoult just gives his deadpan, read of it as he recounts this whole thing was pretty funny. So you have that. You have the alternate doors. When Argus finally gets hold of the dimensional portal, they start looking through the other doors to build their prison in. So that was pretty cool. Then we got to see all the alternate universe. One having some like horror Pikmin type shit going on there, man. We have that one, and then of course they actually find the one, and they throw Chris in there because once again, Rick Flag Sr. is on his revenge tour for Rick Flag, who I still stand by should not have died, man. He should have been brought back alongside Peacemaker, if you ask me, man. But that's just me. But hey, we got to see a little bit more of him this season, man, so I guess I can't complain too much, but I still wish he survived. But yeah, I think that's everything I want to talk about, man. It's like 4 a.m. as I'm recording this, guys, so apologies. I'm kind of just trying to get this done as quickly as possible. But yeah, I think that's about everything I want to talk about from the big moments that I want to talk about, man. I'm sure it's probably something I missed, man. But yeah. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention was with Adebayo, we find out that in the last episode, the big one, where she gets this emotional moment with her wife. Where they finally break up because they're both on completely different paths in their life, and it's just not going to work anymore because they're on completely different paths. And it was like a very emotional scene, man. Like, especially from the actress playing Adebayo's wife, man. She really shined in that episode, man. She had a great performance there, man. The camera really focused on her specifically as we see her like to start getting emotional. She starts crying and everything, man. Fantastic work. So yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to quickly mention. Also, Vigilante is so fucking mean to his mom and, like, very out of pocket. I don't know why he's so mean to his mom. She seems like a nice woman. I don't know why he's so unnecessarily mean to her, bro. It's I don't know, bro, trying to seem edgy or something, but I'm like, bro, like, that's your mom, bro. Why are you talking to her like that? We also end the season off with Chris being stranded on one of the Ultra Dimensions. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, stranded on one of the Ultra Dimensions by Rick Flag Sr. So, assuming we do get a season 3, unless they do like a Peacemaker movie or something, that'll probably be where they'll pick up, and we'll see how he gets out of that back to the main, universe. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me if you feel like it. Links are trust below, and subscribe for more. See you guys next time. You